Let's send this, because I have to notify Homeschools Connected that we're live so that you, the people, can come, since I haven't kept my 9:30 schedule at all. I would like to see you, the people. All right. Let's go. Boom, 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 boom. Share. Copy link. All right, let's put this into Homeschools Connected. All right, that's in there. Let's grab TikTok if they want to join us. I thought my car game would be more popular, but apparently it was among my least popular videos. It means I have to learn geography first, says Elaine. It's funny. All right. All right. I just check something before we... Just want to check one thing. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right, let's grab TikTok. Let's go live. Call it Learning in the Moment. Learning in the Moment. All right, let's go live. 3, 2, 1. Good morning, TikTok. We are live. You are here with YouTube, and it is a wonderful day here in the sunny South. My son is at Vocational Bible School for the week, so my wife and I have been hanging out in town for the 3 hours that he's in his school, and she is in a thrift store right now, which, if you know my wife, is a very exciting proposition for her. So she's in a thrift store, very excited, and I am coming to you live from the parking lot. Hey, Netty Games, anyone not familiar with Netty Games, they should check it out, because they make phenomenal educational games for your kids. Which actually brings us to the topic of today's stream. Hey, Stephanie, how you doing? Which is using the time that is usually downtime for people to educate your children. And one of the things I posted a video on this morning to the Cubs to Bears channel, and I will be uploading this game into Homeschools Connected later today, is a cool game. I wouldn't say I made it, but I did some reading on the internet and found a cool game in which you teach children geography. Netty Games is taking notes right now. They're like, no, we're going to make this into a real game. Like, Netty Games, if you make this into a real game, but you include an Audible CD, which has like facts about the different states, it would be very popular in my opinion. So basically the game, and this is about learning as we do what we're already doing, is if you're going on a road trip with your children. I always think about these things because my wife and I are driving an hour here, an hour there, and with the right game in the car, you could actually turn that into a homeschool opportunity where your children could learn. You know, one of the activities I love for kids is, rather than use a GPS, give them a map and have them get you somewhere using a map. Talk about recovering those antiquated skills. But what I posted on what I'm posting on Homeschools Connected later today, and I made my video about, is a cool game that anyone can do. And basically all you do is you print out a map of the United States of America. You give each child in your car a map and a crayon. And again, they have to be age appropriate for this. But you give them a map, you give them a crayon. And as you're driving along, if they see a license plate from New York, they color in New York. If they see a license plate from California, they color in California on their map. And you're keeping them entertained. They're looking for the license plates. And you're teaching them geography because they're trying to locate where are these states on our map. And then, of course, as you're doing that, and again, it would be a really cool wrinkle if Netty Games made this a physical game, is what you can do is talk to your children about California. Talk to your children about Texas and all the different, yes, a car live stream again, but you could talk to your children about the features of these different states. If you, Philadelphia or Pennsylvania comes up, for example, you could start a conversation about the Liberty Bell and the American Revolution and Benjamin Franklin. There's so much you can do to teach your children while you're just in the car. And all you need is a map of the United States of America, blank map, with just the outline of the states and some crayons, and boom, there you are. Your children are entertained, they're learning geography, they're learning to identify the states, and it gives you a great opportunity to talk to them about information related to New York, information related to South Carolina, information related to Georgia. It's a teachable moment, a great opportunity. You have their attention, and it's something that each and every one of us can do. So I think it's really cool. And then when your children master that, once they know all the states, you can put a little wrinkle in. What is the wrinkle? You give them a blank map of the United States, but without the outline. So like the outline of New York isn't there. The outline of Pennsylvania isn't there. It's just a blank map of the United States of America. And now if they see Pennsylvania through memory, right? Because if they're more advanced, through memory, they have to identify Pennsylvania's geographic location on a blank map, try to draw the shape of the state, and if they get that right, you could do a variety of things, but if you get the proper location of Pennsylvania when you see the Pennsylvania license plate, you get an additional point. So you get 1 point for Pennsylvania, 2 points for knowing its location. If you draw the shape of the state right in the right location, another point. So you can get 3 pointers. If you see the state, identify the state's location, and draw the shape of the state. And this is just a great example of how learning doesn't have to be tedious. Learning could be fun. It could be integrated into whatever you're doing in your daily life. And I thought this car game focused on learning about geography in the United States of America was there's so much you can do. I was in the car, obviously dropping Brady off at class this morning, and on the way there, we started playing Would You Rather. So I was like, Brady, would you rather have super strength or super speed? And he's in the back. He's like, He's thinking about it, and he decided he wants super strength because he wants to be like his dad in his mind. So he wanted super strength. And you just do that. And I said, Brady, would you rather have the ability to get really, really, really big, or the ability to get really, really small like an ant? And he said he'd like to get small like an ant. And I asked him why, and he wasn't specific as to it, but I know he had ideas going on in that mischievous head of his. So I'm going to get to the bottom of that. But these are moments where, as homeschoolers, we could turn them in to educational opportunities. So, that's really what I wanted to cover today. And I'll be posting that on Homeschools Connected later today. I just, I ran out of time at the house and my PowerPoint wasn't quite cooperating, but I have everything done. I literally just need to transfer it to the PowerPoint because I made the images. So I need to transfer them to the PowerPoint and then upload them into Homeschools Connected, and you guys will be good to go. All right. I'm going to go back now and answer some questions, and then I'm going to call it a stream because that's kind of a makeshift stream, and that's what it is, people. We're focusing on a travel game. Have about 3 on our dock for next year. Pretty cool. Netty Games is awesome. Melissa says she loves Netty Games. Melissa has an awesome blog. It's the RVing Across America blog. and she absolutely crushes. And she actually has her own section on Homeschools Connected, but I need to adjust the settings because now that I'm sitting here, I'm remembering she told me that there was a problem with the settings, so I need to fix that. Okay, we'll skip that one. Just being Melissa, not yet. We are a very small company, and I am tech savvy. See, what Netty Games is doing is how we actually win the future. See, they want you to believe, the controllers want you to believe, the system wants you to believe that you create change by yelling at Nancy Pelosi. Oh, that Pelosi's up to it again. But they want you triggered about Alexandria Cortez. But really, by doing that, you're giving them all your power. You're saying Nancy Pelosi has my power. Alexandria Cortez has my power. Or the politicians that you think are fighting against them, you're giving them your power. You're saying, oh, politician, can you please fix this situation for me? Well, no. If you want to win, I mean, that stuff's nice. Like, you could participate in that stuff. You could be aware of that stuff. But if you're not building, you're playing exactly into their hands. How do you win the future? You start a company in which you make board games, and those board games teach children about the Electoral College, how the media could be used to manipulate the public, how politicians might have skeletons in their closet or ulterior motives, board games that teach children about different conspiracies like the Gulf of Tonkin incident, how the United States government lied about the Gulf of Tonkin, and that was used to justify the escalation of the Vietnam War, right? Great board games, like, that's how you win the future. You win the future by making children's books, like I write, on free speech and the Second Amendment and Operation Mockingbird and the Church Committee, the congressionally documented history of fake news, so that children can be aware of how the world works around them. You win by starting a homeschool company, which I did with Classical Learner and our private homeschool community, Homeschools Connected, and assisting parents making original curriculum, providing community, and assisting parents with educating their children so that their children don't grow up to be dependent on the government, to be dependent on corporations, to be dependent on you as the parent even. You win through building. You win through knowing your neighbor, knowing your local farmer. You win through rejecting their hookup culture, getting married, being a good husband, being a good wife. You win through having lots of children, being fruitful and multiplying, and homeschooling your children, and starting your own businesses. And when you make money, hiring your friends to work in those businesses so that they can't be as easily controlled. You win through building. And when I see a company like Netty Games who reached out to me, I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And what they're doing is in the same spirit of what I'm doing. And the more we do grassroots social media, grassroots media. I love to read voxday.net. I love to read or watch Richard Grove's Grand Theft World podcast if you want to get good news, right? Like, we can build alternative systems so that we're not relying on theirs. Because it's one thing to say, oh, the news media is so corrupt. Well, at what point are you in an abusive relationship? At what point, if someone keeps telling you lies, at what point, if someone or some institution keeps gaslighting you, that if you just keep going back to them, turning on their news, we're going to call it that, their news stations, and listening to what they have to say and getting angry about what they have to say, at what point have we decided, even if it's subconsciously, that we will continue to be their victim? Never accept victim consciousness. None of us are victims, because you are only a victim if you choose to be a victim. And that does not mean you have not been victimized. That does not mean I have not been victimized. But you are only a victim when you choose to be a victim. Yes, the controllers have done things to you. Yes, the controllers have done things to me. That's nice. That was in the past. But what they should be worried about is what I'm doing right now. Because I will not be the victim. When I get in the ring and I am hit I will put up my hands and I will defend myself. And when you do that and you stop being the victim, there's no limit to how powerful you can be. That is the root of a nation, the family, the backbone of the nation. And that's how you build strong countries. And that's why I tell people that the modern day homeschool mother, she is the modern version of Rosie the Riveter, because there was a time in the United States of America, and I understand history is grabbled or whatnot, but just work with me for the point, that the country reached out to America's women and said that we are in danger. Everything our parents stood for is in danger. The future of our children is in danger. And we need you to get into factories and make weaponry so that we could win World War I. And you are Rosie the Riveter. You are standing up for your country. Well, today, America's enemies, they attack us through covert means, through subversion. The greatest threat to me and my children is not across an ocean somewhere overseas. Sure, there's threats, but the greatest threat to the future of this country, to everything my ancestors stood for, is subversion. It's how they've used their banks and their corporations, their money and their influence to leverage institutions and to pervert and subvert everything that is wonderful and was about the United States of America. But all of that could be nullified. All of their money, all of their scheming can be nullified by fathers who reject hookup culture and honor their spouse, honor your wife. Put your family first, live a life of service. And mothers who answer the highest calling in the United States of America, the modern day Rosie the Riveter, who steps up and says, my children will not be subverted. My children will not be indoctrinated. My children will not be brainwashed. I will rise to the calling of the challenge of our present day. And because of that, I will build a strong family unit, which will build a strong nation, which will build a strong country. And that is how you win the future. That is how we win the future. And that is what none of them want you to know. Even the ones that you think are really giving it to you straight. They're telling you, ooh, look at those Democrats. Look at those liberals. Look how backwards and bad they are. These are prison guards. But when you start to build, when you lay your own solid foundation, and you pour the concrete, when the winds of tyranny come across your home, it will stand tall in the face of all obstacles. You win through building. And that is what people like Nettie Games do. That is why I support people like Nettie Games. That is what I practice what I preach. I live my life building. And do I have all the answers? Sometimes people look at me and they assume I have all the answers. Sometimes people look at me and they expect me to have all the answers. But the truth is I don't have all the answers. But what I do know is that we are building a solid foundation. And if you are building, you have better positioned yourself in the chess game of life and the chess game of power than you would have if you haven't been building. So grow your food and know your farmer and get your chickens and milk your cows and make your own milk and make your own butter and grow your lettuce and barter with your neighbors and make sure that if there's a food shortage, you are in position to not only take care of yourself, but to take care of your neighbors. Because if you can do that and there's less desperate people around you, and oh, by the way, people who are grateful for the work you have put in, that will benefit you tenfold. That will pay you back tenfold. You get what you put into this world. If you give, you will get 10 times that. And I have lived that. I have lived that. We can build a better future for our children. Thank you for all your videos. You're helping us take our power back. Oh, yeah, see? Here you go. That's what we're doing here. We're taking our power back. Because they want you to think that they can take your power. But they can only take your power if you volunteer to give it to them. Oh, well, I had to, get that procedure because I had a mortgage to pay. And my boss said that I couldn't work. My boss said that I couldn't work if I didn't get it. But you took out the mortgage. And that is a tough pill to swallow. People talk about red pills. I don't know what pill that is, but it's reality check. That we have to take extreme personal responsibility, and the more we take extreme personal responsibility, it actually doesn't hurt us. It doesn't hurt you to say, oh man, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have taken out that mortgage, right? The green pill, all right? We're taking all types of pills here, but, right, so it doesn't hurt you to say, maybe I shouldn't have taken out that mortgage. And that doesn't mean you have to kick yourself, because you did. You just adjust. I took out that mortgage. I had over $300,000 in mortgage debt and a white picket fence and a beautiful home on Long Island in one of the most, expensive counties in the United States of America, right? And I realized, I saw what they were doing around me. I said, wait a second. I said, what does the Bible say? Man, usury is one of the worst sins. And here I am. Here I am. It's like it was trying to warn me. It's trying to tell you, if you live your life differently, you become harder to control. But there is this beast system, and this system will try to control you. It will tempt you with sin. It will try to grind you down. But only if you let it. And bad things have happened to us, and bad things will happen to us. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if bad things happen. What matters is how we respond to adversity. How do we react to adversity? Do we say the system's not fair, or do we look internally and say, how can I adjust my life so that I become more difficult to control? And when you do that, you become a very dangerous person to the system. And isn't that something we all want to be? And notice with what I say, I always recommend everyone follow the law. Follow the law. Know the law. Learn your rights. Know your rights. Know how to exercise your rights. And we are working on teaching our children how to exercise our rights. And one of the things I haven't announced to Homeschools Connected yet, partially because I don't quite know how to go about it, but we're working on it, is I recently did an interview with Crow 777 Radio, which should air, I think, in the next week or two. And they do amazing work in the area of, I'm going to separate these words, law. They do great work in that area. And by the way, I am not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. I'm just a guy on the internet. But they do a great series on that. And the members of our community know that because I have a list of which episodes of Crow 777 Radio people should listen to. That's Crow with 2 R's. That people should listen to. And I've now become friends with Rose, Crow's amazing wife, and they've sent me a plethora of resources that have been put together by actual attorneys for educational purposes for us, where we are going to figure out how to properly teach children about notices of liability. How do you file a notice of liability? How do you file a conditional consent? How do you file an affidavit? And what is the legal meaning of an affidavit? The matter of the record. There is no limit to what we are capable of when we take extreme personal responsibility. And do I have all the answers? I hate to disappoint some people, but I do not. But I sure as heaven have direction. Jesus be his name. I sure as heaven have direction. And that requires building. And that is something each and every one of us can do every day. And it doesn't mean you have to start a homeschool company. It doesn't mean you have to write 7 books. It doesn't mean you have to make really based and red pill board games. It means you wake up in the morning and you say, how can I take a little bit more responsibility in my life? How can I take a little bit more ownership over my marriage? I know my spouse is driving me crazy, but how do I look in the mirror and say, well, maybe there are things that I'm doing that I can do better to make my spouse's life easier? That you move mountains with that mindset. You move mountains. I'm not just going to blame my spouse. I'm going to look in the mirror. What can I do different? How can I adjust? How can I take control of my children's education? How do I make sure that my children are learning the things that I want them to learn and protecting them from the things that I find to be harmful? Because I, as the parent, have that right. I have that God-given right to my children. That divine spark was not given to anyone else, but it was right inside the womb of a mother. That spark of divinity. I knew when I saw my son for the first time, I had seen God. When he opened his eyes. The divinity in creation. Beautiful. Original curriculum, question mark? Yes. So we have courses that I teach on the Bill of Rights, American Revolution, propaganda, which I teach using the Cubs to Bears children book series, the media industrial complex. We have unit studies. We have science curriculum, which is all based on the scientific methods, STEM curriculum, which is all about critical thinking and using what's already in your child's environment to build cool things. There's some really cool ones I've been looking at too that I'm excited about, but I'll announce them when I announce them. Construction projects where your children are actually learning the skills of carpentry. So many cool things that we as parents can do with our children. So, yeah, we have all that. We have a pen pal program. We have state groups so you can meet people in the state that you live. And it's only just the beginning. We're building something very special. So we all have to move off their board game and make our own. Exactly. That's what people don't realize. We don't even have to play their game. Like, they're like, come, play our game. And we're like, no, I'm going to go play with the cool kids. We're going to play a different game. Yeah. Don't forget we're the cool kids. I mean, I love it. Like, I don't play around. Like, I sold my house, moved my family across the country, started a homestead. I built up an amazing community where we try to support each other. I have a section in Homeschools Connected where people could actually post their businesses because I hope come holiday season, our members buy from each other. Like, that's what I want us to do. You know, like, be the community. Like, people don't even know where I see this going. I got big visions. I have big visions. Melissa is already making big moves where she'll be moving my way. Like, there's a lot of stuff in the works where we can build community and personal responsibility. And the only thing that can stop us is ourselves. And the more we accept that, the stronger we'll become. Homeschooling and homesteading. Exactly. It's such a rewarding life. Like, I don't want a life where I'm not with my children. That's so lame. I don't want a life where like I want to walk outside and be in nature, and I want to see my animals and take care of my animals and raise my own bees and chickens, and like, that life is beautiful. You walk outside and just nature around you, and the people are wholesome. Oh, there's Nettie. There's plenty of like me. I attract my tribe, so I attract my tribe. I find my people. We do not co-parent with the government. You're in a car. Why, yes, I am. Brady has vocational Bible school this morning from 9 to 12. So Nicole and I it's about 45 minutes from our house. So we drove here in the morning, and Nicole's been going to a variety of thrift shops, and I've been working from the car. It's one of the many benefits of being your own boss and working from your phone. Well, I was in a meeting, but you're here now. We missed you. We missed you. I mean, I do miss my backyard. This is not as nice as streaming in the backyard. I like nature. I know, I need to do the greenhouse lives, although I will say that the greenhouse has suffered some catastrophic times. So it's been a little hot for the greenhouse with the summer sun. So I moved most of the buckets, because I had them in buckets. So I moved most of those buckets into the main yard so they don't get as much sun and heat. But I do still have some things in the greenhouse. But I had my cucumbers, which were climbing up in the greenhouse, and it was just too hot for them in there. I had to get them out of there. But now I know that. Yeah, definitely the cool kids, for sure. I'm my son's best friend. What more could a parent ask for? Love being with my girls 24/7. My kids are my world, and I live to give them better. And that's why I know the future's bright, because I have a unique perspective that I am introduced to so many parents who think like everyone in this chat. So I see how many good families are out there. So that's why when everyone's like, oh my God, the future, I'm like, the future is bright. We're going to crush. Oh no, the new world and their precious little order. Oh, what do you think? There hasn't always been rich and powerful people scheming to take power? That's the entire history of the world. Scheme away, psychopaths. We will outlast you. We will endure you. We will triumph over you in the glory of God. There's always precious little people scheming to take power with their precious little schemes. Oh my God, don't you know they have an agenda? Mike Tyson say everybody has a game plan until they get punched in the face. Legally, by building. Oh my God, Nancy Pelosi is coming for me. It's Pelosi, Cortez, and Schwab. He's over there in Europe. He's scheming. He wants global control of everything. I bet his wife cheats on him. Women don't respect psychopaths like that. Those people make their own hell. They all live in hell. They're always looking for more power, money. And now they're not just caring to hide it so much. Yeah, I think the reason they're not hiding it so much is they feel a sense of desperation. I don't think they're nearly as powerful as people believe they are. I think they're wizards, that they get their power from making people believe that they're almighty and all powerful. That's why, yesterday was the guy came on here and he was he made a comment. He was like, you can't be anti-government and pro-Trump. I was like, oh, did you think I'm anti-government? Do you think because I point out corruption that I'm anti-government? No, I am a masculine male, and it is my responsibility in a society to point out corruption in my society. It is my that has got lost because all these guys spend their time watching a bunch of narcissistic materialists bounce a basketball around. Like, oh my God, did you see the game? No, I'll tell you what I saw. I saw corruption in my society, and as a male, it is my job to weed out said corruption. That corruption is a threat to my wife. That corruption is a threat to my mother. That corruption is a threat to my son. That corruption is a threat to my daughter. Weed it out. Weed out the corruption. So you call this stuff out and you build. Then you realize they're not nearly as powerful as they project themselves to be. And it's just like in The Wizard of Oz, which I tried to get my son to watch it, but he wasn't ready. That was probably about 13, 14 months ago now. I should try again. But The Wizard of Oz is a great movie. There's a lot of truth in The Wizard of Oz, right? You got the guy behind the curtain, and he has this, this big voice, and he's like, oh, the all-powerful wizard, right? And who is that? It's like a news station executive, right? And then with Dorothy, when she finally wins in the end, all you have to do is click your heels together 3 times, and you realize you had the power all along, Dorothy. Dorothy had the power all along, right? I gotta watch that again. I should do a full breakdown of that. I would even bet, I haven't seen it in so long, to watch the full movie. I would bet the straw man, I don't know. I have to look into it. If the straw man is a reference to your all caps name type of thing, but it's also a very old movie. But yeah, Wizard of Oz, there's a lot of truth in that. Anyway, I guess that's what I wanted to cover today. For anyone interested in what I do, it's www.classicallearner.com. And you can find Homeschools Connected at classicallearner.com. Use the discount code FREEDOM, all lowercase, and it is the high price of $10 a month. Once you do the Discord settings, I'm going to post things to help people to make money on the road. That would be very valuable. I need to get the settings corrected. What age should I teach the curriculum? Our curriculum is for all age groups. We don't cover everything. It's not one-stop shop for, everything. We're getting there. But what we cover is extremely valuable. And our nature unit study is amazing for children as young as pre-K, all the way up to adulthood. That's how much flexibility it has within it. And you can do really cool things with our nature unit study. Our science curriculum is really great for all ages because it's simple experiments, and it teaches some science, but it's really about the scientific method and teaching children about the method and reliability and independent variables, dependent variables, controls. What is the website again? www.classicallearner.com. And the group is called Homeschools Connected. And if you sign up, just make sure you use the discount code FREEDOM, all lowercase, and it will be $10 a month. Oh, and there's Nicole and Aubrey. You've had the power this whole time, Dorothy. All you've had to do is click your heels together 3 times.
What are you talking about?
She doesn't know what I'm talking about. Hi, Orbs.
I was looking for books from education books from before 1911
Yeah.
and 1907, but Aubrey had a mind of her own, so we didn't get through a lot of them.
Where do we have that book in here?
I don't believe so. I think I brought it in time.
Good, because it's super old. Nicole found
I
a
found a book that was 130 years old, but there's a lot of books in there, but I don't. You're more of the historian.
It was a 130-year-old book.
Yeah.
I love old books. Nicole found a book which was a 1908 teacher's manual, So cool. I got to read through it, but I skimmed it and it had like a whole section on how Jesus would have operated as a teacher and like the teaching style of Jesus. Like I love that stuff.
Well, they had this book and it was like a 1935 like classroom, and it was like the women or the girls doing like vacuuming the classroom and home ec stuff, and the boys were outside like getting water from the well.
That's really cool.
It was really cool.
That's really cool. Teaching them actual real
You need
skills.
to come in with me one day. It's awesome in there.
I love this
And
thrift store. It's a great
they
store.
are now doing their own custom furniture, so they are flipping antiques and making it
cool.
new. I mean, they have some gorgeous stuff in there.
I wonder if we can make some of our trees into tables and sell them to tables.
I don't think that they're big. They're not big enough.
Oh no?
No.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see about that.
It's like Satan's button here. It's hot out. Yeah, Mama, you want some water? Let's get you some water. Más agua.
I'm on Discord now, but how do I access the curriculum and Crow episodes? So if you go to the left side menu, I forget exactly, it's either Know Your Rights or it just says Rights. If you click on that, there'll be a drop down menu and you'll see Crow 777. At that spot, I have a list of all of the legal episodes that Crow has done. Now, since I've made that list, I've also gained access through developing a relationship with them to a lot of really cool paperwork, but there's gonna have to be some type of organizational process I do. I don't want to just drop the documents on you. I want to make it into something, and I just, we'll see. Maybe I could get someone to volunteer to do that because I know a lot of people that are passionate about it, and it's a very positive thing. So anyway, but that's coming. So yeah, go to Rights on the left side menu or Know Your Rights, one or the other, and you'll see the Crow stuff.
The amount of cast iron stuff they had in there. Woo!
Oh, cast iron?
Oh my! They had a stove from 1920.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I would love some of those cabinets they have in there. It's all like, it's a really cool old antique store.
I want a 1920s like kitchen, like what they used to have in their kitchen.
Yeah.
So I can put my herbs in them.
We're doing that. We're doing that. And if we can't do that, I'm building one. And I'll be very excited. Oh, give me that face. I'll build one. Look, it's trolling me. It's trolling me.
Gunter, where you at?
Oh, man. Now you're cucking me. All right. Get out of here, Gunter. Get away from my wife, Gunter. I will build the spice rack. Flipping antiques is my favorite hobby. Yeah, flipping is awesome. I have a friend who he started a whole business just flipping things.
I want to flip things.
We can flip some stuff.
I can flip my mattress.
Is that like a real flip or are you like a
Like a
literal
real-
flip?
a literal
I
flip.
don't know if you can flip the mattress.
I actually probably.
You're gonna be like, Brett, help me flip this mattress.
I'm stuck. I'm
It's
stuck.
heavy.
You're supposed to flip your mattress
What do you mean you're supposed to flip your mattress?
so that it doesn't get all like lumpy. You're
Interesting.
supposed to flip and rotate.
Oh, well, let's do a flip.
I'll watch you do a flip.
I will handle the flip. Ooh, Melissa said she's bringing you her sewing machine.
I know. I'm so excited. Wait, I have to send her. I posted it in the group chat, but I'm texting her a picture of this antique sewing machine that was in there. Hold on, I'm coming in.
I'm coming in hot. All right. You're sending that to Melissa?
I just sent it. It's called the Seam Master.
It's called the Seam Master.
It's beautiful. I don't know if you can show this to everyone on the live.
I can. All right, guys, I think I'm going to call it a stream on that. We're going to go get Brady boy.
You're coming back into the store with me.
Today?
No. Another day. Another day very soon.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Another day like tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I took so many pictures, they probably thought I was such a creep.
I mean, I'm sure they get that a lot.
I guess so. But I mean, look at the wall of cast iron.
Oh, that's amazing.
I
Guys,
know.
check this place out. I don't know if you knew this, but Nicole and I love stuff like this. It's all cast iron at the thrift store.
Like, they had so many cool things I've never seen before. They also had a kitchen book. I almost bought it. And it was like 300 years of kitchen cooking stuff.
Of ancient wisdom.
Yes.
Mhm.
They also had one for like English and American, like outdoor trapping. It was like a man's book. It was like
Nice.
the man's book. And it was like showing you how to like load
Go get the book.
how to load a musket.
Get the book. Go.
No, that's stove. That's not the cast iron.
Look at this stove they have. What year is this from?
I don't know. I can show you the 1920s cast iron though. Isn't it beautiful?
I mean, this is an old stove. This is
Yeah.
beautiful. Look at that.
I wonder if it was like one of the first electric stoves because it had the coils in it.
Moms Against Medical Bullying is saying it's from 1930.
Oh, it was so beautiful.
I love stuff like this.
Alright, and then, all the Pyrex stuff. Ooh, I almost died and went to heaven. Look at the stove. That's the cast iron stove. Who needs a
Oh, how much is this cast iron?
$2,000?
$2,000.
Yeah.
Oh, must be nice.
I feel like I just popped your balloon with a pin.
Cast iron stove. $1920s child's dolly favorite cast iron. Wait, is this for a
I
child?
think so.
It's a $2,000 stove for a child?
Well, and
Nah, this is a real cast iron,
I
like
don't know.
light on fire.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
feel like in 1920, children that were like 9 years old actually cooked.
Yeah, they used to do real things.
They were
Yeah,
like grown-up children.
yeah. We've been dumbed down. We've been dumbed down, people. There was a dumbing down.
I took so many pictures. It's just,
Everyone wants the stove.
we all want the stove.
Netty Games doesn't even cook, but Netty Games still wants the stove.
And this is their refurbished stuff. How pretty is that?
I'm
They're-
dropping the phone. Doo, 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 doo.
Let's see, what other fun stuff? They had a vintage dairy crate and bottles for $125. And underneath it were old typewriters.
Oh, the typewriters. I mean, I can't imagine doing your work on a typewriter. I mean, I'm a proficient typer, but I'm constantly missing keys. And then like you can't go back and delete. So, all right, guys, all right. I really am going to go this time. ClassicalLearner.com, Homeschools Connected.
Great, show them this one.
Nicole's not letting me leave.
You're not leaving, show them that. That's so pretty.
What year is this from?
I don't know, but that's what they used to have in there. That was like their prep counters, and they would keep their
I love all
their
this
spices
antique
and
stuff. The quality of work that craftsmen used to do compared to like the crap these corporations put out. That's why buy mom and pop.
I bought a buy antique.
Well, antique is mom and pop. This is a mom and pop antique store. This, you know, it's not a chain. It's
The
a
guy
little.
goes, I'm just letting you know we have a fully functional, nice changing table and the big bathroom in the back. I go, do you have a babysitter? You need to get on that. I'd spend more time here.
Foster Bear also loves antiques.
We can all go to this antique store together.
awesome.
Can we do a field trip?
I mean, I would love that. I mean, we definitely need to do eventually when we're ready. I'm not ready yet, but once the house is built, the new build, I am probably going to host a Homeschools Connected meetup at the house. I mean, we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
New house, old stuff.
New house, old stuff, as Nicole says. I want to hang with Nicole and Melissa. We can make a day of it. Netty Games.
Yes. Definitely.
I mean, if Netty Games and I hung out all the time, like if we were hanging out all the time, the amount of games that would be made over the next few years, I'm like an idea machine, and then Netty Games knows how to do actual things.
Because I steal them and we go to the thrift stores.
I'm an idea machine, and Netty Games has actual skills to make the games.
Oh no, you're dripping yogurt all over me. Ah! Do we have napkins? I'm covered in yogurt.
This is why I've been so into, like, Brady's 4 years old now, and this week, I've really started to change my approach with him, where now as we do things, I'm telling him that I expect him to do it, and that I want him to do it because it will give him skills that will help him in life, and he's totally receptive to it. Like, he doesn't really love doing his letters and whatnot, but last night I was like, I expect you to do this. Reading and writing are a superpower, and they'll make you really strong. And he was, you know, and we talk about, he's like stronger than the bad people. I was like a lot stronger than the bad people. But you have to read and you have to write and know how to do things. We've been working on the piano, which he's reading music now, which is really exciting. He could read music. And he's been working on the piano. And we had a talk about how I want him to learn it because he likes telling stories. And when you're good at music, everyone will always want to hear your stories. And he was like, why do they want to hear your stories if you're good at music? And I was like, well, you know when we're in the car and we put on the songs and mommy, daddy, you and Aubrey are just dancing and having a great time? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, that's the power of music. So if you can do that, like, you can put your stories right into your songs. And he was like, oh, yeah. And he was like all excited about it. So, you know, I think especially with young boys, I was actually listening to Owen talk about this, which I appreciated, that you really, as they get to a certain age, you want to start setting expectations for them and letting them know why they're doing things and why it's important. And as long as you meet their social emotional needs, like they feel like they're played with and you give them attention, they will just crush at whatever you want them to do. So send your game ideas to me, says Netty Games.
I'm creating a game. I've created a game.
You have created a game. Oh. Yes, Nicole actually made a game on herbs, which is about ready to go. She did an editing process.
Yeah, I had 20 minutes to myself.
Anyway, she did some editing the other day, but it's almost done. It's a really good game. Anyway, we'll talk more about it. Maybe I'll see what Nettie thinks about it. No expectations, but maybe to see what you think about it and your thoughts.
Nettie's going to be like, wow, this game is bomb. Why haven't you put it out yet for the community?
Nettie probably is going to say that. And I released my game on my Cubs to Bears TikTok today, the car game, which was I talked about at the start of this stream. And I'll be releasing it into Homeschools Connected. So there's that.
Do you want some more?
So, all right, guys. We have to get Brady now. I really am going to go. www.classicallearner.com, Homeschools Connected. Discount code FREEDOM, all lowercase, $10 a month. You can find me, Classical Learner, on everything. Freedom isn't free. We have to earn it every day. I'll be back tomorrow at 9:30, although I probably really won't be, to earn it. And, we'll take it from there. We'll see what happens. And
You sound like you're glitching. Oh, cover.
All right, guys.
Bye, guys.
Hold on. Taking your drink.
You can drink mine.
This is for Melissa. I have commandeered Nicole's drink. It's a strawberry
Bye,
smoothie.
friends. Bye.
That's a stretch guy. He stretches.
Bye-bye.
Brady really likes the stretch guys. Rah. Rah.